Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining this breakfast call this morning. My name is Reiner Limburg, and I am hosting today's call. And thank you for joining back after 2 months. As you know, last month we didn't have a breakfast call because we had our virtual conference shortly after. I hope you all watched it. It was a huge success because we had close to 1,800 people watching this show live from all around the world, actually, not just from Europe. We had people joining in from 48 countries in the world. And I just wanted to remind you that all the content will still be available until the end of the month. So if you haven't watched can everyone see and hear me, Lisbeth? I see some things in the chat that...
I can see you and hear you clearly, but I
Very
also
good,
see
thank
the
you.
chats. Okay.
Very good. So yeah, what I was mentioning is that all the content of the virtual conference is still available until the end of the month. So if you haven't watched the breakout sessions yet, please go back to the platform and watch them. Some great tips and great stories from our field leaders. So please do that until the end of the month. As you probably also know, is that at this conference, we announced our European incentive again, the Desert Rose Incentive, and it was launched last Saturday. So today I will focus mostly on this incentive. It has proven to be a very successful incentive. We started with this European incentive trip back in 2018, then with the destination Africa. And in 2019, we went to Lapland in Finland, where we were together with a big group of ASEA associates and enjoying a lot of wonderful activities, beautiful scenery, and also, of course, each other's company. Unfortunately, the trip couldn't take place last year. Well, we all know why, so we don't have to talk about that too long. The good thing is that we have good hopes that it can take place this year, and therefore we decided to start another European incentive. And also for the ones that qualified last year, they will be automatically qualified for this trip. And of course, there's still a good reason for the qualifiers from last year to try and qualify again this year, because we, of course, have something extra in place for them. As you can see, Lisbeth is on the call as well. So a warm welcome to you, Lisbeth. Lisbeth has been on all of our European incentive trips, and she also has a special connection with Morocco. And that's why I invited her today to share a couple of things about this wonderful country and also about the European incentive trip. But before I hand over to Lisbeth, I would like to walk you through this incentive. What does it mean? What are we going to do? And most importantly, what do you need to do together with your team to qualify for this trip? So let me share my screen with you like that. And I start off right with some beautiful pictures of Morocco. So destination Marrakesh, Morocco, as you can see, beautiful country, lovely food. I'm really excited to go here. I hope you are as well. And I want to share you a couple of details of what you can expect if you qualify. Starting off with the hotel that we're going to. And for everyone on the call who was with us last year as well, there's a slight change in the hotel. So this year we're planning to go to the Hotel du Golf Rotana. The reason for this is that the other hotel is being renovated, and our events manager Madis, when she did her site inspection, she of course went to multiple hotels, and this was one of them. It's beautiful, it has a perfect location, and it has everything we need. As you can see, beautiful rooms, nice swimming pool, good food. So a lot of luxury here. And we will start off with a welcome dinner at Nikki Beach. And this will be exclusively for ASEA. So we will be just us, no one else, and we will enjoy a lovely dinner at this beautiful location. When it comes to activities, when you go to Marrakesh, of course, we have to go on a camel ride. And I've had the pleasure to ride a camel before, and these are very interesting creatures, very interesting animals. So I just picture myself and all of you, a group of 100 or 150 people on these camels, enjoying the scenery, and I can't wait for this. Morocco and Marrakesh is also known for their souks, their marketplaces, and of course there will be time to visit this famous souk. We are also doing a jeep tour safari through the Atlas Mountains. Marrakesh is actually very well located, and it has we have the opportunity to go on camel rides, but we also are close to the Atlas Mountains. And Madis also told us that because she went on this trip, that there are some beautiful views when you do this trip. And we will drive towards a Berber camp where we will have a very traditional Moroccan dinner together. So these are some of the highlights and activities that we will be doing. And of course, we have some more things up our sleeves. For the details of the trip, I like to refer to this slide. So as you know, the qualification period started last Saturday, which was the 13th of March, and it will run for 24 weeks. So all over summer until the 27th of August. The travel dates will be the 14th until the 17th of October. And as I mentioned before, the qualifiers from last year that will qualify again this year will get an extra night and also an exclusive dinner. And for the first prize winners of last year that will qualify again this year in first place, we will also have a cash award for them. This incentive is intended for all open European markets. So if you are registered in a European market, you are able to participate in this event. And the good thing about this incentive, we don't have any rank requirements. So you don't have to be a diamond or a gold executive to qualify for this. Not at all. Everyone can qualify. And this is because of the qualification criteria. We base it on personal group volume, 3 levels down, and then the growth. So you need to increase your personal group volume 3 levels down with a minimum of 12,000. And in addition to that, you have to generate a minimum personal enrollment volume of 500. So why, and I will talk about this later on, but this is a fair incentive for everyone. And also when we look back at the previous incentive trips, we see that also a lot of new associates qualify for this. Their group size is still smaller, which also means that their base volume is lower than associates that have been with us longer and have built a bigger business. And I will talk about basis volume later on, but this allows every associate to qualify for this incentive as long as they continue to build their business and increase their group volume. So just a bit more information about PGV, or personal group volume 3 levels down. When we talk about PGV, we don't look at the binary tree, but we look at your personal sponsorship tree. So you have direct control over PGV3. So what is included in this volume? It's all the sales and the purchases that you make, but also the ones that you sponsor personally and another 2 levels down. So the ones that you sponsor personally, the people that they sponsored and they sponsored. So these are actually the people closest to you in your organization. Yeah, a bit more details here. You can see it here. So we look at the personal sponsorship organization and we take all of the product sales volume, the first 3 levels of your personal sponsorship tree. And this is what we call PGV3. Regarding basis volume, you of course do not have to calculate it yourself, but it is convenient to know where you can find your PGV3 volume, and you can find it in many places. The most convenient for me are the dashboard and the volumes total report. So in dashboard, just click on dashboard, and on the right side, you have this overview where a lot of information is provided, but also PGV3. So you can know, you can see what your PGV3 was in the last 4 weeks and in the current week as well. When you go to the volume totals report, you can see your PGV3 stated there as well, actually for more weeks. And if you export this report, you can see it actually for all of the weeks in the year and also from the previous years. So two places where you can see this, easy to get an overview of how your business has developed. And yeah, please have a look at that so you have a better idea of where you are at the moment. I also wanted to emphasize and elaborate on why we use PGV3 as a qualification criteria. And there are many, many reasons that I can come up with, more than I listed here, but these are the most important ones for me. If you focus on personal group volume 3 levels down, it encourages stability, but also teamwork, right? It's not just the volume that you bring in, but also the people that you sponsored personally, and you have to work together with your team for this incentive. So it encourages teamwork as well. Your efforts have a direct impact on PGV3, and what I mean with your efforts, I mean that if you sponsor someone personally, this will be added to your PGV3 right away. It is also really important for your future commissions or your commissions in general, because yeah, when we look at the compensation plan, a lot of focus is of course on team commissions, which is really important. This focuses on the binary tree, but all other parts of our compensation plan focus on the personal sponsorship tree. And most noticeable is, for instance, the executive momentum pool. The commissions that you can earn in this part of the compensation plan are based on your PGV3 volume as well. Depending on the pool that you're earning shares in, the shares are based on your PGV3 volume. These are directly converted into shares. Each share has a value, and this is what we base your commissions on. So growing your PGV3 is not only important for this incentive, but for your business in general. A growing PGV3 level or volume means a growing business. And what I mentioned before is that we use this because it means that everyone can qualify as long as they build their business and increase their personal group volume. So fair for everyone. And so now I'm going to talk a bit more about the basis volume. So we're talking about you need to increase your PGV3 by a minimum of 12,000. But what does increase mean? Well, this qualification will run for 24 weeks. So there will be a combined volume of 24 weeks together. And we base, you need to increase this compared to a similar period in time, which was actually the previous 24 weeks, as you can see on this slide. So the PGV3 volume that you generated between 19 September 2020 and the 5th of March 2021, this will be your basis volume. As you notice, there is 1 week in between the end of the base volume and the start of this incentive. This is, of course, to leave our business intelligence team the time to calculate all the basis volume for you, because of course you do not have to do this yourself. We did it for you. And if you go to your VO, and I will show you a slide later on as well, you will see a widget, we call it a widget, which is specifically for this incentive, which shows you your basis volume, and it also shows you the volume that you need in order to reach the next level to qualify. And as we just started with this incentive, this will mean the 4th place. For this incentive, we have 4 different price levels from 1st place until the 4th place. So in order to qualify for the 1st place, you need to increase your PGV3 volume with 48,000. For the 2nd place, it's 36,000, 3rd place, 24,000, and the 4th place, it's 12,000. And increasing it by 12,000 means 500 PGV3 more every single week. And in addition to that, of course, you have to generate a minimum of 500 personal enrollment volume in the qualification period, which can mean that you enroll 5 people with a 100 PV pack, or you sponsor one person with 500 PV, or whatever you want to do. You just need to generate 500 PV. What's the difference between these price levels? Well, the most important thing is that if you qualify 4th place or higher, you will be invited to this event. We will pay for all the activities and the hotel for 2 people. This is, of course, important because you don't want to travel alone, even though you will not be alone because we will be with a big group. You can take whomever you want to take. It can be your partner, it can be another ASEA associate, or it can be a good friend that is in no way affiliated with ASEA. We just want to give you the best experience that you want. Therefore, you can pick who you bring. So 4th place, hotels and activities. Then for 2nd and 3rd place, we add a travel voucher as well. And with Morocco or Marrakesh as a destination, this can actually be already enough to cover your flights, because one reason why we picked this destination, of course, because it's beautiful and you can do so many great things, but it's also an airport which can be reached very, very easily from many places in Europe. And then, of course, the big prize, the 1st place, we will pay for your flights, we will pay for hotel and activities, and you actually get a hotel upgrade, so a better room or a suite. So what do you need to do? And the picture that you're seeing here on the top right corner, this is actually the widget. So if you go to your VO, you see a personalized widget with your base PGV and also the PGV3 to reach the next place. So just what do you need to do? Step 1, write down your basis volume and calculate the weekly PGV3 you need to qualify. So for someone who would have 20,000 as a base volume, this would look something like this. So what do I need for 1st place? My base volume is 20,000. I need a 48,000 more to qualify 1st place, which is a total of 68,000 in a 24-week period, which will come down to 2,833 weekly average PGV3. And it goes down to, well, if you do the same for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place, you will get these numbers. So what I would do is, of course, write down what I need to do weekly. And I would also have a look at my PGV3 right now. What have I been doing the last couple of weeks? And what do I, by how much do I need to increase this volume in order to qualify? Of course, I mentioned it, this is going to be a lot of teamwork. You have to work together with your team. So not only write it down for yourself, but do the same for, or even better, with your team members, because with this incentive, teamwork is the key to success. And the 3rd step, and probably most important one, is that you have to start right now. Because if you bring in new team members, of course, their enrollment volume is counted for your PGV3, but also the othership volume that they will bring in over the next 24 weeks as well. And maybe the most appealing here is that if you bring in new team members, there's a good chance that they will bring in new people as well. And this all counts towards your PGV3. So please start right now. Don't think, oh, it's going to be 24 weeks. It's a long time. I will see where I am halfway through the qualification period. No, this is not the way it should be. If you work now, if you start now and prepare your team for this incentive, the chances of success are a lot higher. Also, don't look at what do I need to do for fourth place. Aim for the first place. This will increase your chances of success significantly. So I hope you like it. I hope you are motivated to work together with your team on this incentive. We are very excited about this. We will be talking about this a lot, and also we will support you with sending out emails later in the qualification period to the people that are on track to qualify, and also to the ones that are slightly behind on track, just to give them an idea where they are and what they need to do in order to be with us in Marrakesh later this year. So, and now I would like to hand over to Lisbeth Hogervorst-Clausen. She is from the Netherlands and she's a platinum executive. And as I mentioned, she was on all our incentive trips, and she knows as no one else that it is all about teamwork. I know that she qualified for some of these events by working closely together with her, team in the first 3 levels. So Lisbeth, I will stop sharing and I will hand over to you. Thank you again for joining this early morning, and great to see you again.
Yeah, likewise, Reinder. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I will also share my screen with you and then make this bigger. Yes, is this working? Good. And good morning to all my dear friends. Today, I would love to share a personal story, and it involves the miracle of a desert rose. Once upon a time, in June '89, it was the first time that I traveled from Holland to Morocco. And I was married for 8 days. I was 30 years old, and it was really exciting. After a car trip of 1 day and 1 night, my brand new husband and I arrived at 7 a.m. at my parents-in-law's house in beautiful Tétouan. It's near Tangiers in the north of Morocco. I had only heard of Marrakesh at the time. And we banged on the cast iron door. I was so hoping my clothes were fresh enough after that long trip. I had jeans and a coral red t-shirt with a boat neck on. I will never forget it. And my mother-in-law, Yemena, opened the door. A monument of a woman. She danced towards me and she was so happy she hadn't seen her son for 6 years. It was the end of June, just before the so-called Great Feast, and this vegetarian didn't know anything yet. And my father-in-law, the beautiful, tall Abdurrahman, took me deeply in his arms and then disappeared in the kitchen. And later I understood that in that place, the kitchen, inside the house on the patio, the animals were slaughtered. These animals were cared for, slaughtered, the meat distributed, and then the meat went to the family shops down in the village. And I knew, of course, that my new husband came from a butcher family, but it had never occurred to me that the slaughter would be done from home. I later learned that these family shops were famous in the area because of the godly and righteousness of Abdurrahman, my father-in-law. And that first morning I was enthroned like a princess, and I tasted my first real Moroccan mint tea. Gosh, I'll never forget that one as well. With these biscuits with it. You see here biscuits, I'm sure you will see. The so-called gazelle horns on the right, and the others are called briouettes. Lovely stuff, always handmade. And it was 1989, and Tetuan was still medieval. The same thing that has never changed is the soup, the so-called harira. It's a soup full of vegetables, maybe with beef or lamb or chicken, but it's always halal and always made with ras al hanout. This stuff is very hip in Europe now, ras al hanout. You see it in every supermarket, but it's centuries old. It's from North Africa. It's a spice mixture that was originally prepared in these Maghribi villages. And every spice shop and every Moroccan woman has their own secret recipe. And a spice blend of 20 to 50 different spices is quite common. And some sellers use up to 100 ingredients. Well, my most beautiful ingredient is dried rosebuds. And I'm 100% sure that you will taste this soup when you go to Marrakesh. Well, quite soon we left for Marrakesh as well, to the fairy tale of 1001 Nights. And the most exciting part is, of course, the evening when it falls on the square. And then at about 10 o'clock, you go for a walk and, of course, you eat. And the next day, you would drive out of the city full of curiosity, because it's really not far, as you said, Reiner, before you reach the mountain and the desert. It's unbelievably gorgeous. And this is the real desert rose. And you know what? This is known to help make dreams come true. I think the desert rose is the twin sister of redox. It has deep healing energies. It helps with chronic fatigue, releases you from all sorts of ailments and viral infections, etc., etc. And in Morocco, it is known to combine the powers of Father Sky and Mother Earth. And this gorgeous succulent is also called desert rose. Well, after your day out, you can easily return back to that square in Marrakesh again and enjoy so many types of street food. And, you know, I could write a book about the food alone, or about my Moroccan adventures. And I would make a chapter on these things. They are called tagine. It's a sort of casserole. I would definitely write a chapter on that. I would also write a chapter on the early morning food. Here you see the sphinge, and it's eaten between 6 and 8:30 in the morning. Lovely stuff. I would write a chapter about olives, of course. Great, the best from Morocco, as they say there. And I would write a chapter about this lady, but that's a whole other story. And I would add a chapter about snake charmers, because this you will also see in the middle of Marrakesh. And, you know, it's a rather beautiful fairy tale that I experienced that ended in 2001 when my husband passed away very suddenly. Moroccan life has remained in my DNA. I'm always African. And magic and the desert rose and network marketing are somewhat similar to each other. It's piece by piece. It grows exponential. It's unique and universal. And this too, everyone recognizes the magic. I'm very honored to be able to tell my story of Morocco here. I was able to experience ASEA's trip to South Africa and then to the North Pole, to Santa Claus in Finland. And I'm now so inspired by this possibility of Morocco. And this trip is devised and organized especially for you. And participating in this incentive automatically happens. And how it works, you will find out. And with just a little bit of focus, you would do whatever you want to do anyway. You can build your team with this incentive and celebrate together with that team, that you better people's lives and that you are part of being a force for good in the world. And, you know, when you replace my husband in my story with ASEA, I think it's an equally exciting journey. And working with ASEA is a commitment, a getting to know yourself and each other better and better, and loving each other unconditionally. And then when you get together on a fairy tale location, the magic happens. And I hope you're curious about this most beautiful country in the world. And I hope you have fun with Desert Rose. And I thank you so much for your loving attention.
Dear Lisbeth, thank you so much. I am grateful that you were willing to share this very personal story of you, and also to share some pictures of the wonderful Marrakesh. Actually, I skipped breakfast this morning because I had to be here in the office rather early, and now you're showing me all these pictures of the beautiful food. I wasn't prepared for that just yet. Now I'm starving.
You feel your stomach. Yeah, good.
But thank you so much. And yeah, after seeing your pictures and hearing your story, October cannot come quick enough. Thank you so much for this. Well, I think I speak for everyone that Lisbeth's story makes us more inspired to go here. And yeah, please work on this together with your team. And what Lisbeth said as well, I want to emphasize, it's not just a disincentive that you're working for. We designed this incentive that if you start working on this together with your team, your business will grow. You will reach the next levels in your ASEA business, and on the side you will qualify for this incentive. So work on it, please. I have a couple more things that I want to share with you today. One part is a recognition because, and then this is somewhat sad news, is that we know that Ascent and Diamond Summit will not take place this year either. But we wanted to share the associates that qualified for Ascent with you. We actually had a great run this year from our European incentives. We had the first prize winners coming from Europe with Bali and Ani Krishnan, and also three people that qualified for the second place with Ush and Orshoya Tibor and Janos and Livia Perici, and Mrs. Chulan Lee from Germany. So great success. Also two people qualifying for third place, and a lot of associates qualifying for fourth and fifth place. 27 qualifiers in total, and another, let's see, 97 people that qualified for the sixth prize. Unfortunately, for the sixth prize winners, there, yeah, the trip will not take place. But we still wanted to pay a bit of attention to these winners, because this is this means hard work, and we want to recognize each and every one of you for this. Of course, the same is the case for the Diamond Summit. Also will not take place, but these are the qualifiers from Europe for this this trip. Raidun Boon, Sissel Anderson, Zoltan Vainay and Annette Jorfi, Mijur Charmatan and Martin Suki. So congratulations to all of you. And what I also want to mention is, of course, we have this breakfast call on a monthly basis, but starting in April, we will also do a monthly recognition call. So please put this in your agenda. We will do it on Thursday, April 8th at 12 o'clock CET, Central European Time. So a lunch call. So we have a breakfast call, and this will be our lunch recognition call. We will start on April 8th, but in the upcoming months, so starting in May, we will always do it on the first Thursday of the month. For this April, the first Thursday is April 1st, but very close to Easter, so we decided to start on April 8th. But please make sure that you're here. We will do a lot of recognition, not only rank advancement, but also top enrollers, fast forward, and we will also invite associates to talk a bit about their ASEA journey on this call, not only from higher ranks, but also from the lower ranks. just to share a bit of personal information, but also what they needed to do in order to qualify for these ranks, or what it takes to become a top enroller within the ASEA. So please make sure that you are there. More information will follow shortly, Zoom links, and we will communicate mostly through social media. So keep an eye on our European Facebook page and also our European recognition page for more information on this. And then what I want to briefly talk about is, of course, the Emerging Leaders Training. We still have 2 more weeks going for the qualification period, because it will end on at the end of this month. But I want to share some details with you, because we already have 134 qualifiers for this Emerging Leaders Training. From many countries in Europe, as you can see, France, Hungary, Germany, Norway, and the United Kingdom. This is our top 5, with more than 10 people qualified for this training. And I also have an overview here of the how many criteria associates met. So we have 15 people that met all the qualification criteria. As you can remember, we're focusing on successfully complete 2 fast forwards, have a minimum enrollment, a personal enrollment volume of 2,500, reach the rank of Director 700 a minimum of 26 times within a full year. And the fourth qualification criterion was to be an EMP earner. So the 15 associates with 4 criteria met have all of those 4. And 32 people had 3, 87 fulfilled 2 criteria, and we still have 248 associates who met 1 criteria and can potentially still qualify in these last 2 weeks by fulfilling one of those other 2. If you look at the criteria that I just mentioned, the 258 people had 2,500 personal enrollment volume or more. So 165 associates are qualifying stably on Director 700 or above. We had 65 EMP earners, and 90 people successfully finished 2 fast forwards or more, because there's actually an associate who did like 13. So great stuff, and congratulations to all the winners. If you want to see if you're qualified, you can go to the VO library and check and click on the Emerging Leaders Training leaderboard. We have all listed the names of all qualifiers. So please have a look there. And as I mentioned at the start, we still have 2 more weeks to qualify. So please try to qualify for this, because we have something special in place for the qualifiers. Then the last topic that I wanted to discuss with you is Easter, because we will have a Easter promotion. It will run for 8 days, starting on March the 30th until April 6th, so just over Easter. And we will make it as easy as possible. We will have 1 promotion bundle in place, which includes 1 case of ASEA and 4 tubes of Renew, and we will do a 15% discount on this bundle. It will be for on-demand orders only, and it will be open to associates and preferred customers. And in addition to that, if you buy one of these bundles, you will be drafted in a raffle. We will give out 10 prizes at our next breakfast call, and we will do this live. And so we will announce the winners during the April breakfast call. So please, of course, we will share some more information about this promotion and the raffle shortly through email, and we will do some social media promotion and communication about this as well. But it's always great to offer a promotion. So I hope you like it. I hope you like this call, and I certainly hope that you will be joining next month again for our next breakfast call, and of course also our recognition call on April the 8th. I want to thank you very much for your time, and this is goodbye from me. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.